Welcome everybody to Black Twitch League. We are here. It is your boy Little Rodney, aka the Old Sad Boy, with Rare Adam Casts.
Hey, how's it going?
I am doing good, enjoying my Sunday night, and we are already here for Spectre Gaming versus the WCU Rams. And we have some bans coming in. We got a couple marksmen being banned from Spectre Gaming with the Callista and the Corky. And on the other side, WCU is banning out the Victor and the Diana. So tell us a little bit about these teams and what we can expect to see.
Yeah, for sure. So WCU Rams coming in to this one, still sort of looking to reclaim their glory from weeks 1 and 2, where they had a great 2-0 victory with Kalichi carrying the weight on this Callista that was banned out. Then week 2, they had a really good series as well against Barber's Fan Club, going down in 3 games. But since then, they haven't really been able to find that spark once again. So they're trying to get some more momentum back. Whereas Spectre Gaming, they've had a little bit of the opposite situation where they lost in week 1 and since then have been winning pretty consistently. They're at 3-1 right now, so up near the top of the standings. And really curious to see how they end up showing up against WCU Rams, who are really looking to get themselves back in the playoff picture.
Yeah, it should be interesting. And we got the first round of bans already coming through. We have a Zach ban from Spectre, and then they're going to go ahead and first pick the Vigar, whereas WCU bans the Jinx. Jinx we have seen through amateur and pro play is a high priority ADC. So we're going to have to see who WCU picks early on to go into the game.
And the no pick there is actually Kaisa, which is what they're hovering right now. They're going to have another pick to go alongside that, so it just looks like it ran out of time just barely. But the Veigar getting picked up here, it can be flexed into a bunch of different roles. HyperF has played it down in the bot lane. It's been played support as well, and Learning as well can play that in the mid lane, so you've got some flexibility with that. But the Kaisa Nautilus, sorry, on the flip side, going to be really strong as a combo. We've seen it pop up in competitive play as well. Kaisa having her AP build now gives her a little bit more flexibility in terms of drafting with that champion. You can pick some more AD on your top side of the map and still have that AP threat later on in the game.
Yeah, and like you said, the flexibility of being able to go in both lanes, both teams kind of picking a flex pick for their first pick just to make sure they're not giving away a little bit too much. Not likely to get counter picked if it's a mid lane, but also not having the option of first picking who they would like. We do see the Nautilus coming in the probably support role. Nautilus. I mean, I've seen people play Nautilus all sorts of places. I don't want to take away from anybody's secret pocket pick, but we do get a Zinzao coming in, which I assume will be the jungle for Spectre Gaming as well, as they're going to go ahead and finish their first round of picks.
Yeah, the Zaya getting
With
picked up is interesting here.
yeah, with the Zaya, so that does, I guess it could be Vigar support as well. That is not unseen before, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I don't know how high that chance is, but the Zinzhao getting picked up as a champion that Swagasm has played it a couple of times already. It's a very comfortable champion for a lot of these junglers because it's been meta for so long. Volibear, though, on the flip side, that's a jungler that has sort of risen in priority because there's so many champions getting nerfed. Zinzhao got nerfed, Hecarim getting nerfed as well. So thus has given the rise to Volibear as a jungler as well, who hasn't really been directly buffed, but since everyone else around him is getting nerfed, it sort of works out in their favor. So curious to see what the rest of this draft will be. Interesting to see that as a Shyvana ban. That might be saying that Lake has something up their sleeve in terms of playing Shyvana top lane, but I'm curious to see where the rest of this draft turns out. The Zaya into the Kaisa will be quite strong in lane, especially if HyperF opts to go for the lethality Zaya that is still somewhat prominent down on that bot side of the map. So just sort of waiting to see where everything lines up because we've got some interesting picks, and if there's some interesting combinations that go alongside it, then we can get some spice in this draft.
That is true. And we do get the Morgana ban also coming out on the side of WCU. We have a Kled and a Zillion ban coming out from Spectre. So there is a little bit of a target, I guess, against a mid laner, but I would assume you would go after two mid laners if you first picked your Vigar and that was going mid, unless they're playing the deep game where they're like, they know that we know that they know. So if we don't ban mid laners, they'll assume it's not. But either way, it's going to be WCU. Looks like coming through with a Tom Kinch here, unbenching the Kinch, which can also go support or top. So we got a little bit of a flex between the Nautilus and the Kinch. Correct me if I'm wrong, but top lane Kinch was
it was
nerfed pretty harsh.
Yes, it was nerfed, but it's still one of it's still a champion that Kingfisher has played with a lot of safety, and it's something that you can sort of blind pick and give a little bit more agency to figure out where everything is going. I think they're still a little bit unsure of where that Vigar is going. Now you know it's going into the mid lane. You can sort of get a little bit more of your bearings about you. Say, okay, we know what our matchup is. They want to try and set up. Please don't run it for the best matchup possible. I think it's been the story of the season where we've talked about please don't run having a lot of agency in the mid lane to be a very strong member, but not really getting the tools to do so because of matchups, because of other things like that. So trying to set themselves up for success there by having please don't run it on a beneficial matchup is, I think, the best way that they could play this out.
Yeah, and we will find out very shortly when they have the counter pick for WCU, but we do in the meantime have a Janna and Set coming in for Spectre Gaming. So it's gonna be Xayah, Janna in the bot lane, a whole lot of disengage, which will be helpful against the Nautilus, will be maybe helpful against the Volibear, depending on how Volibear chooses to use the abilities. But there's only one tanky boy, and there's a Karthus coming in for. Is that a Karthus bot, maybe?
Might be Karthus mid lane, or there's still a little bit of flexibility. We'll find out where everyone lines up, but technically could be Karthus bot lane. With the Nautilus doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but could still be there. Could be Karthus mid lane as well. Very unlikely to see that Tom Kench go anywhere but top lane at this point, Volibear jungle. So it's really just about if it's Kai'Sa mid or Karthus mid at this point. Wouldn't be too surprised by either one, but you have a lot of teamfight capability or a lot of skirmish potential with this Karthus now. You can just drop that ultimate onto anyone from anywhere across the map, and you have that sort of all-in button in that sense where you just deal a crap ton of damage, and you have to really be cognizant of what power that has. So curious to see how the rest of where everything ends up turning out, but we should be getting into the end game draft as well, and we will get those answers as soon as possible.
Before we find out from the end game draft, am hoping that we are going to get a UNB special Nautilus mid. Okay? That would be entertaining to say the least, but probably not the best matchup in the Vigar.
It would be interesting if that were to happen, especially, as you said, because of the Vigar. I think just because of the other champions that we have available to us, there's no other jungler, or no one else that could really go top lane unless you put Volibear top lane and Karthus jungle, Kai'Sa mid, or Nautilus mid, and then when you have Kai'Sa Karthus vault lane, or Kai'Sa Tom Kench. It gets really confusing after that, but seems like the gut instinct is true. It is Tom Kench Volibear as your top side there. Most likely going to see that Karthus go mid lane.
Yeah, and there is a little bit of an Aurelion Soul Hover in the mid lane there for learning. They're just kind of trolling around, but it is going to be the Vigar and the Karthus as the matchup in the mid lane. Two very big scaling mages with very impactful ultimates, we will say. So that should be a fun race to see to level 6. Do you anticipate that it's going to be the junglers kind of helping out the mid laner, trying to give a leg up to one of the mid laners to get to level 6?
I think that these junglers, especially because they have so much early game agency, they're going to be looking to maybe play around either this mid lane to get one of these lanes ahead, or they're just going to ignore it and say, you know what, farm it out, figure it out for yourselves. You know, with Vigar or Karthus, both of them are going to end up scaling regardless. Maybe they want to try and impact other lanes across the map, and if that means going down bot lane to try and get the Xayah or this Kai'Sa behind for either one of these junglers, that may be their angle as well to success. But realistically, there's either going to be like all the ganks mid lane or none of the ganks mid lane.
That is fair. I am actually very curious to see these ganks going on to the bottom lane, especially after 6, because Spectre's bot lane has so much disengage, and so the move speed from the Janna, the tornado, the monsoon, the ultimate from the Zaya, the feathers that can stun. I feel like that's going to be a really difficult bot lane to engage on early on.
It's going to be a little bit difficult because you've got a lot of ways to disengage the fight, but you've got a Nautilus hook as well as the Volibear. There's two different ways for them to sort of start off that fight, and realistically, if they're catching out the Janna, if they're not ready with the tornadoes in that sense, it's going to make it really hard for Red to get out of there. Same with Hyper F. Before level 6, they don't have the Feather Storm to avoid a lot of that damage, so it's really dependent on how they make their ganks work. Another thing to note is if you're burning the Feather Storm, you can't use that to dodge away from Karthus ultimate damage, which will be a factor once we get into the later stages of laning phase or even into the mid game.
That is true. So going in, now that we know where everybody's going, how do you see the early game going?
I think that in terms of early game, it's going to be a story of the junglers where they want to stake their claim. Both of these junglers have incredibly strong early potential to make a lot of plays happen. It's hard to see the setups with the lanes in a lot of ways because a lot of it is built around these junglers finding those plays. So realistically, I would expect laners to rotate around and find some skirmishes. If anything, WCU, they've got a decent chance to set up for some early game plays with this Nautilus if they want to roam around. Karthus has a lot of damage to back that up if they can land the Skittles down as well. So I'm curious to see if they can make the proactive plays, because if we look at the flip side, once we get into mid game with Veigar, Zaya set, you have a lot of skirmish power in that own right. And if this Karthus isn't able to get off the ground, they can end up being more of a liability than a threat.
Fair enough. Well, we will find out very shortly. We're going to take a quick pause for the spectator delay. And when we come back, we will have game one, Spectre Gaming versus the WCU Rams. Don't go anywhere. All right, and here we go. We are into Game 1 Spectre Gaming versus WCU Rams. Quick rundown of Summoners and Keystones, Masteries, etc. Well, just Keystones. We can't see the Masteries, but we do have Kingfisher with the Teleport and the Grasp of the Undying on the Tom Kench. Dissipate took the Press the Attack. And, of course, Smite on Volibear did take Flash, not Ghost. Please Don't Ruin It is taking the Dark Harvest, not going. I apologize.
First strike.
Better Klepto. First strike, yeah. Kalichi has taken the Hail of Blades and has Exhaust, not Heal. Ahata has taken Ignite and has Glacial Augment. On the other side for Spectre, it's going to be Lake, has the Teleport and has Conqueror. Swagasm also has Conqueror, has Flash and Smite. And it's going to be a Teleport and Predator for learning on the Vigar. A Barrier for Hyper on Zaya with Lethal Tempo, and it's also going to be the Glacial Augment on the Janna, but the Janna does have Heal. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of an Engage going on, or a little bit of an Invade, I should say, coming out from WCU. I don't know if they're going to get spotted out or not. We will soon find out. There are pings going down. I think they know that they're there, but they're going to at least be able to delay Swagasm getting his first camp, which is a benefit all in its own. In the meantime, though, Vigar is going to get a little bit of a push in the mid lane. A fantastic leash given to Dissipate, who does donate some gold to Red, though.
Yeah. The main thing about this is just that Karthus is going to miss out on lane priority as well as this Kai'Sa Nautilus, and a lot of how the Kai'Sa Nautilus finds its strength is getting an early level 2. They miss out on, I think, 1 minion's worth of XP there. Not 100% sure, but we'll see when level 2 comes around. But they give over the lane pressure to HyperF and Red here. So level 2 power spike may come through for the Janna Zaya first here, as opposed to the Kai'Sa Nautilus, who really want to push the envelope. But Swagasm going to go for a little bit of an invade here to sort of claw back a little bit of jungle priority.
Yeah, we did see the Karthus did hit level 2 at approximately the same time as... Oh, and it's actually going to be the level 2 is going to be picked up by WCU, and they're immediately on to Red, and Red is going to get ignited and go down. Is going to be First Blood going over to Kalichi on the Kai'Sa. How, Sway? How did they get to level 2 first?
Yeah, that's really interesting, because looking at the minions, I think it might have just been that there's a melee minion still alive on the side of WCU, which means that they weren't able to
Swag is getting caught out. It's going to be forced to use the Flash to go over. It's going to be the Abyssal Voyage from Kingfisher coming through. That's also going to be a defile. There's going to be a stun, and it's going to be a kill. It's going to be Please Don't Run It. Now coming back to lane with a double buff on the Karthus. That is not ideal. That is absolutely not ideal if you are the Vigar, because now Karthus is absolutely a giant bully coming out and just hammering him, missing a lot of the skill shots, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot of damage coming through, and in the meantime, it's going to be in the bot side. Red is going to take a lot of damage, gets hit with the hook. It's going to be Kalichi now, going to get hit with a lot of feathers, but is able to walk away before the feathers can be recalled. And now there's going to be a gank on the top lane. His Dissipate is coming in for Lake. Lake is probably going to have to use the Flash, and there you go. It is a lot of action coming out from WCU earlier, and they are coming out ahead in all of these trades.
And it's a good look for WCU, because we wanted to see them sort of play towards this early game, and somehow, some way, Kalichi and Ahata are able to get level 2 first, which bodes so well for them. Of note, though, Kai'Sa did opt to go and pick up the Noon Quiver, which means she's going to be going for the AD Kai'Sa. No AP Kai'Sa here. Don't think it's necessary, though, because you've got that Karthus in the mid lane. But yeah, the roam up on top side there, Swagasm just gets caught out, and a really good rotation up from Please Don't Run It, who now just has complete control over this lane, as you said. Having some trouble landing the Skittles down, but it's forgivable, because, you know, he's just going to be trying to shove this wave in as quickly as possible now.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the meantime, we also do see a little bit of a camp lead coming in for Dissipate. There is going to be the gank from Swagasm. Is going to be the cage landing on Please Don't Run It. It does not have the Flash anymore. is managing to stay alive just barely. No, that's going to be the flash in from Learning to get the kill, and it's going to be an immediate kill back from Please Don't Run It. So Please Don't Run It does go down, but is able to secure the return kill, and now we got both the junglers fighting in the mid lane. Dissipate is a level up, but Swagasm is going to be able to walk away just fine, gets a little bit of a knock-up, and is going to walk away. There's going to be the teleport coming in from Learning, so don't think there's going to be any more aggression. But yeah, as you said, there's also going to be the Noon Quiver bot lane, and it's going to be already a 9 CS lead for the Kai'Sa, who has a significant item lead as well, and they are looking to clear this vision down here in the bot lane after that fight in the mid lane. Please Don't Run It able to save the teleport just because of the wave state, because they had so much priority. So that's going to be a summoner advantage, and is going to have his flash a little bit earlier.
And the extra kill going back onto Please Don't Run It after Learning picks up that kill is really big, because it sort of just erases the double buffs. It means that Veigar isn't going to be coming back to lane with double buffs or anything else. So well played by Please Don't Run It to come back and pick that up. And looking at the items right now, it's going to be the difference between a lost chapter and just your amp tome plus boots here. So Learning going to have to be a little bit careful. Granted, level 6 going to come through means they have a lot more 1v1 agency against the Karthus. Karthus ult really just going to be used to help out the rest of the map as well, to look for these aggressive plays. You can sort of just call down the airstrike whenever you want to look for kills, and if bot lane gets them down to 30%, then that's your agency to go in.
And yeah, that is 2 Event Horizons being landed by Learning, which is at least able to give him a lot of damage. But we do get Lake getting pulled back in by Kingfisher, taking a lot of damage. Is going to get knocked up by the Abyssal Voyage. Does now have 6. Hit 6 at just the right time, but it's still going to go down. It's going to be a 1-for-1. And that is going to be all. It's going to be the Karthus ult used, but mostly wasted, as their Lake died before the ult could come through. And just like that, it is a 1-for-1 on the top side, but again, there's a large wave being missed by Lake.
Yeah, Lake, really well played, actually, to be able to turn that around onto Kingfisher. It was looking really rough for a second there, but able to tick over to level 6 with one of those minions, able to turn it around and pick up a kill for themselves. And while Please Don't Run It not able to get the Dark Harvest plus kill with the ultimate there, the Requiem, it does force Hyper F and Red to back off of their lane a little bit, so it does give a little bit more of an advantage over to Kalichi and Ahata, as if they needed more of an advantage. They're already up 2 waves, and they're looking to continue pushing forward this lead. And in a lot of ways, WC Rams, they seem to always perform way better when Kalichi is in their lineup. He has, I think, the highest CS per minute of anyone in the league, with above a 10 CS per minute. So you know this guy is coming to play, and if he can make things happen here on this Kai'Sa this game, it's going to mean a lot of good things for WCU. As we were talking, they want to try and make that next step up to try and get a better position for playoffs.
Yeah, and to your credit, already has effectively 10 CS per minute since minions don't spawn till a minute 20. Looking very good. But yeah, with a giant wave crashing in as well, it did look like there was going to be a play onto the Dragon from WCU, but now they're still pinging on it. There's a help me ping. They don't necessarily see the ward that was placed there, I believe, from Red, but Red is going to go ahead and use the tornado to disengage. Dissipate is coming through. There's going to be the hook coming out from Ahata. It's going to be the flash from Swagasm, as well as a couple ults coming through. It's going to be Kalichi taking down Swagasm, and now they're on to Hyper F. Hyper F is going to have to flash away. We do get Veigar coming in with the Predator, is going to manage to use the flash, and they are going to be able to get away. It's going to be the flash as well from Kalichi. Ahata is stuck out a little bit, but is going to, and there it is. There's going to be the ultimate. It's going to be the Primordial Burst, going to provide the burst to take down the Nautilus. So it's going to wind up being a 1-for-1, a jungler for support, but I think you take that trade when their jungler's already down a level to begin with, and they are pinging onto the Dragon?
They might try and redo this Dragon here. You don't have the Nautilus, and your wave is currently crashing on the bottom side of the map. Throughout this entire time, though, Please Don't Run It has still just been farming up mid lane, has that Requiem available again if they want to go for this fight, but looks like they're just going to back it off. And really well played from Learning to rotate down to that bottom side. The flash from Ahata was a little bit late there. I think they were expecting not to take as much damage and maybe just flash away to dodge the Baleful Strike as opposed to any of the damage, but now Learning, oh boy.
And there we go. We get the Event Horizon landing on Please Don't Run It Again. Please Don't Run It Again is going to flash forward, trying to get some of that lay waste to land onto learning, is not able to, is going to now channel the Requiem, is probably going to get a Dark Harvest stack, but that's going to be all, and that's going to be another kill onto learning. It is not, or I'm sorry, maybe that kill went to Swagasm. Oh my god, Ahata barely not in time to go ahead and get that kill with the hook from Nautilus. In the meantime, Hyper able to get a little bit of a wave, a little bit of a breath between all of the drama that was going on in the bot lane, and it's going to be coming out of the first dragon. It's only going to be 5-4 with a 1,000 gold lead for WCU. Kind of a little bit of a seesaw there.
It goes back and forth just a little bit. It makes it somewhat challenging to sort of make anything stick because the Karthus doesn't have any gank set up, right? You don't have any ways to set it up for yourself, and Learning's done a great job of setting up these event horizons to enable Swagasm to find these plays in the mid lane, but you know, we just have to keep our eye on Please Don't Run It because we know they are going to scale incredibly hard into the later stage of this game, so the more ganks that they're getting, the better it's going to bode for the side of Spectre Gaming.
Walks directly into the waiting arms, and that's going to be the flash out of the Vigar, though. So they are able to get Please Don't Run It away alive, and on top of which the aggressive flash from Learning turns into nothing. So worth, question mark, at least your mid laner did not die there, but again, they are looking to reset up for this gank. It is going to be a nice ultimate coming out from Dissipate, but it is Swagasm using the ultimate to push away, which is absolutely necessary there. Almost went down from one of the layways from Please Don't Run It, and it's Lake being pushed in the meantime. The directed camera wants to show us that everybody's fighting all of the time, and Lake is going to be okay for the most part. Please Don't Run It sticking around is very killable. Looked like, the Predator was used there by Learning, trying to get in range for an event horizon into a primordial burst. I believe Please Don't Run It is pretty much in range for the kill there.
They were looking poised to find the angle for the kill, but unfortunately not able to get it to stick. But as it stands right now, it's still a gold lead for WCU. They've been able to hold on to their gold lead rather well. Oh,
there it is. There's the event horizon into the queue, into the primordial burst, and there's another fight going on bot lane. It is Ahata winds up using the depth charge to keep the bot lane safe, keep himself safe, and that in the midst of the Featherstorm, that's not a bad deal. But it's going to be Kingfisher with a solo kill on the Lake. In the meantime, Kevin, that fight up top lane is able to get the Q. The shield battle goes over to the Tom Kinch, but we do see Swagasm still hanging around in the bot lane, possibly looking for a dive, maybe? I'm not really sure, but that's going to be the hook on from Ahata, and that's going to be a kill for Kalichi. Going to get the killing spree going on, as well as the ultimate coming out, the Requiem getting a little bit more damage onto the bot lane, and they're going to be forced to back away as Swagasm and HyperF are not in a position to continue fighting. And there's already the Gale Force that has been completed and used in that fight from Kalichi, which is contributing to the lead that they're able to build up here in this bot lane.
The lead that has sort of become an issue. If we look at the overall state of this game, this Kai'Sa being so fed is really detrimental to how the side of Spectre want to play out their later stages of the game. You want to try and get onto that backline so effectively with this set, with this Xin Zhao, but you need this Xayah to be able to match the damage output from Kalichi, and right now that's not happening. Anytime that the Tom Kench is getting thrown into the backline by a set ultimate now, it's not going to mean as much because Kai'Sa can just move forward so with no fear in a lot of ways. She's got this confidence to just go for the all-in plays, and WCU, they've got themselves in a really good position up 2,000 gold right now as plates are falling.
Yeah, and speaking again on the item advantage, we also do see that the Frostfire Gauntlet or Iceborne, what is it Frostfire now?
It's Frostfire Gauntlet.
Frostfire Gauntlet coming out for Kingfisher, able to get the first item ahead of Lake, who still does not have the Mythic, but we do have a Gore Drinker coming in for Swagasm, and it looks like there's going to be another fight going on around this dragon. We do have the Predator popped. Oh, I'm sorry, the Predator is not popped. The Predator was on cooldown from Learning, but they're still able to get a whole lot of zone control and are looking to force around this dragon. There's going to be the event horizon down And now there's a lot of damage coming on the Hada, able to get the hook on the Hyper. I don't know if that's necessarily who you want with all that disengage. And there you go. You see the disengage, but it's going to be Kalichi going in. Kalichi trying to get the kill. It's going to be Kingfisher gets it. Instead, Kingfisher did use the teleport to come down bottom lane, but they are able to kill Swagasm in the meantime. And WCU is now in a prime position to go ahead and challenge for this dragon, as the rest of Spectre is a little bit low. We now have Vigar again using the Predator, getting a little bit of damage there, but not enough to matter. And it's going to be a dragon traded over now. It's 1-for-1 on dragons with a couple of kills to go with it for WCU.
Really well played from WCU because they're able to find the pick onto the key member. You want to take down that jungler to enable that dragon's security for yourself, but it's going to open up this bot lane now to pick up a first turret. The snowball is going to start to come through from the side of WCU. Is actually, first turret was taken on the top side as Lake able to push down really quickly, so Spectre able to cut a little bit of that gold back in their favor by getting the first tower. It doesn't end up being too big in the end, though, because it's not a whole lot of plates, or there's no plates at this point, so it means a little bit less to get first tower.
Yeah, does mean a little bit less, and I think the trade-off is one that you will take if you're WCU.
Goodness.
Oh, and we're going to see Kalichi going on the Hyper. Hyper is going to use the flash, but it's still going to go down between the Requiem and the everything.
The
but oh my god. Oh my god. And that's going to be the double kill. We do see Learning trying to get on the Please Don't Run It, but Run It is mostly able to stay. Oh my god. Stays alive with about 30 HP. Dissipate able to clean up the kill on the Learning. That is going to be Learning yet again using the flash aggressively, but not able to get the kill this time on the Please Don't Run It. Lives with literally less than a tick of health. And just like that, the gold lead opens up. And again, a little bit more, about 2,000 gold now switched over. And the Collector now coming in for the Kaisa. So, as though it wasn't hard enough, it's going to get harder. We do see Kingfisher using the Abyssal Voyage to go in, is immediately going to go ahead and eat Lake. Lake going to be forced to use the ultimate to go back in, but is now just going to get run down. Kingfisher, canceled like 3 different autos. That feels bad. Feels real bad. So the showstopper able to stop the show. And Kingfisher, I think, forgot that Tom Kinch has like 2 for attack speed and cancels the auto trying to orb walk him down.
Overall, it's been a really good showing from the side of WCU. They've now doubled their gold lead that they had from earlier, and making a play on the bottom side of the map. It's the power of this Karthus. You just press that ultimate. It's sort of like, yep, we're gonna kill you in the next 3 seconds. You better use your summoners, get out of here as quickly as possible, because HyperF tried to stay alive and wasn't able to escape Kalichi there on a play that looked a little bit aggressive from Kalichi, and then of course, Red just not being really able to get out of that alive. He gets BM'd on by Kalichi, who just starts channeling those backs before cleaning up the kills. So overall, just a really strong performance from WCU. This is the performances that we were expecting from them after seeing how they played in Week 1 and Week 2. And they're starting to get their footing once again. So it's a good performance for them, especially against one of the teams that is on the upper half of our bracket.
Yeah, and we do see them moving into the bottom lane, bottom side, I should say, trying to get some vision out there. It is the Rift Herald was taken by Swagasm in the meantime. We didn't get a chance to see it, but they are now looking to set up. The Dragon is still a little bit away, it's a minute 50, but they're already looking to clean up vision, looking to either get picks or set up for them later. We do have, Ahada immediately clears the ward that Red just put down. Nothing feels worse. And are they going to fight over this red buff? I don't think they are. There is a teleport from Lake that's available. There's no wards behind though, and just clips. But it's going to be the Event Horizon stun going to land on Dissipate. Dissipate is going to go down to the Primordial Burst, and Swagasm now trying to zone off the rest of them. Kalichi able to dash out a couple of different times, able to get away and live. But the Blast Cone sends Lake into Kalichi, and it's going to be Kingfisher going down as well. It's going to be a double kill for Lake, and that feels real good with those 2 shutdown kills. It's going to be 900 additional gold going over to Lake, and it's going to cut the gold lead, at least in the immediate, down to about 1,000, and they're going to drop the Rift Herald mid. Probably going to be able to take that tower as well. Looks like the Charger's going to go ahead and take it, and it's going to be a whole lot of swing coming out there for the side of Spectre. And they're going to get the second charge, maybe even get the second tower. No, not going to be able to get the second tower, but now they're going to be able to turn around and set up for the Dragon. What a turn.
Yeah, and it's sort of the motto of Spectre Gaming thus far this season: live by the lake, die by the lake. And in a lot of ways, Lake really makes the change in that fight, flashing on top of Kalichi there to clean up that shutdown, and now has a completed Spirit Visage to speak for themselves. So this set going to be really massive in that front line now. Curious to see how the side of WCU play around this set as the game goes on. But that gold lead that they had, we were talking about it, 4,000 gold, has virtually disappeared off of that fight. Dragon is spawning onto the map, though, and there's teleports coming through. We might just get a run back of that fight with even less resources.
It doesn't look like it's going to be a run back. It's going to be immediately taken by WCU on spawn, which is going to give them 2 dragons to 1 lead. In the meantime, I would like to actually revisit that fight. SwagAsm did so much with that Crescent Guard, able to keep everybody off and basically zone Kalichi off of all of the squishies. But now we see them setting up pings onto Baron. I assume that's just for vision. It's not going to be a... Oh, they are! They're starting it. They're starting it, knowing that Kingfisher does not have teleport, and neither does Please Don't Run It, and Run It is on the bottom side. I don't know that they're going to be able to burn it in time. It does not look like it, but there's pings going out now from WCU, but I don't know that they're going to get there in time. Even if it is a slow Baron, it's just not being seen on the side of WCU. Oh, but now they're able to force them off just now. We do get the showstopper coming in from Lake on the Kingfisher. Lake now starting to win these trades now with the Gore Drinker, able to just kind of walk through Kingfisher. Kingfisher, even with the Bramble Vest, not able to cut enough healing from Lake and Conqueror, but nothing major comes out of all of that posturing there, and everybody's just going to kind of reset. We do have the wave being pushed in. Lake able to dodge out the tongue lash from Kingfisher, does get the Facebreaker and the E. The E might be the Facebreaker, I apologize, but is able to basically keep chunking out Kingfisher, who may have to walk it back. We do get the Predator being used by Vygar just to zone off Please Don't Run It from the lane, and Vision now being looked to set up around Baron. It is only a 1.5 gold lead for WCU, not where you want to be now, and the lead and the advantage that they had built up has been slowly whittled away.
And it's been really strong play from Spectre Gaming in the last little bit. They almost pulled off a Spectre Baron as well there, where they've done it a couple times where they just started up under the fog of war, no vision, but more fighting on bot side.
Yeah, more fighting on bot side, but it looks like both of them may be okay. Lake gets devoured, though, and it's immediately uses the showstopper out. It is able to stop the Abyssal Voyage, gets the true damage proc onto Kingfisher, and is healing up because of the Conqueror, but again, neither of these, I think, has the ability to kill the other one just because of the innate tankiness of Tahm Kench and all of the healing and utility that Lake has between the shield, the Conqueror, and everything, and the Core Drinker.
I'm curious to see how this side lane is going to play out in the future, because realistically, Lake doesn't really have too much of a contest. If they're already beating out the Tahm Kench, the Karthus isn't going to be one to match them. The Kaisa can't match them either. This is just going to be Lake's playground in the side lane now. So curious to see where this set will make their mark, and live by the lake, die by the lake. As we said, it's really going to be dependent on how these side lanes go
Ahada
for Spectre.
Oh, he was stuck in the event horizon, but it is not going to be pursued upon by Learning. Instead goes for the wave like every good Viger should. Gonna keep stacking up. How many stacks does he have so far? It looks like 236 stacks of the passive, so that's going to be a very, very hurtful Vygar now and going on to the future. Kalichi in getting some good damage on the Hyper F, and immediately we see the Requiem come out, is almost able to take him down if it wasn't for that Janna shield, and just like that, Hyper F has to walk away, is at least off the map for a little while. Janna as well. The two squishies lost about 600 health from each from the Requiem.
It is really interesting to see how the next couple of plays are going to go, because it's really going to be predicated on how much damage this Karthus does either during the fight or before the fight even starts. SwagAsm.
Oh no, Swag looking to live, but is going to go down. Should not have maybe defended that tower, and it's going to be everybody going for him. It's going to be the flash over from Ahada, as well as the ultimate coming out from Kalichi. They are able to take him down, and they are immediately pinging on the Baron, and there's going to be the teleport coming out from Please Don't Run It. They're going to try to start this Baron as fast as possible. There's a little bit of vision going on, but everybody's on the bottom side. Whoa. Spectre had a 4-person rotation to the bottom side, and just like that, they're not going to be able to contest this Baron. Maybe they should have just gone and set up for the Dragon instead. They are going to go ahead and try to fight. It's going to be Lake. Lake is able to get on to Kalichi, but Kalichi is able to get away with the Gale Force. Ahana on the other side, Scan was able to zone off everyone else, and it's going to be Learning going down. Did not get to use the Primordial Burst, but HyperF is going to be able to get the kill. Return kill on the Kalichi, and Dissipate looks like may go down as well. Lake is going to be able to not get Ahana, but they are going to get Dissipate. Kingfisher on the backside trying to live is going to be able to take down HyperF after HyperF gets the triple kill. So it's going to get a little bit of gold back, and it's going to be 2 of them walking away for Baron on the side of WCU after a chaotic fight to end it. 3 for 3, so I guess 2 for 3? 2 for 3 in a 4v5. So I guess a fairly good call on the side of Spectre, and they are able to get the Dragon anyway. So able to take off the Baron off a couple of members. And there's going to be the Requiem just used, I think, to prevent some backs. Did get a Dark Harvest stack off of Red on the Janna. I'm pretty sure he can use the Requiem on cooldown and get a Dark Harvest stack from one of the squishies at this point.
It's incredibly strong and well played from Spectre to be able to almost turn around that play, but WCU able to find a Baron play for themselves. They're able to expand their gold lead just a little bit more. Dragons are even, though. This game is far from over, and HyperF carrying the weight of that fight, picking up a triple kill, now has that completed Lord Dominic's Regard, so going to be doing a lot more damage, and honestly, Kalichi just took so much damage there from the Xayah there and wasn't really able to retaliate with much, but look at the items coming through for Kalichi. Almost 4 complete items now on this Kai'Sa at 26 minutes. This is going to be a massive game breaker here, because looking at the individual gold leads here, basically the entire gold lead of this game is based around Kalichi on this bottom side of the map. So, you know, being 3,500 gold up on your lane opponent is a massive win for the side of WCU, and if they can play around this Kai'Sa effectively and keep her safe, she will carry them to a victory at this rate.
Yeah, it was, though, like you said, it was a lot of the live by the lake, for lack of a better way to put it, in that team fight. Lake was able to keep the Kai'Sa locked down very well and just prevented Kai'Sa from being able to escape, and allowed for Hyper to put all that damage in there. Yeah, so Lake doing the job.
Yeah, they are really the main person to shut down Kalichi in this case. They need to try and find an ultimate either onto the Xayah or onto a member to drop on top of the Xayah to do a lot of damage. That's what the Showstopper is going to be mainly used for, and Lake has to try and find those angles. With the build that they're going for, Death Stand's third item, a pretty good bet to keep themselves alive for as long as possible, but I'm concerned about the lack of magic resistance that has been built against the likes of a Karthus. It's so hard to play against Karthuses in general, because you normally don't see any other champions building AP on their team, so you're building either against Karthus or against the greater amount of damage on the enemy team. But you've got Tahm Kench and you've got Volibear. That should be enough to warrant at least a little bit of MR.
Oh my gosh, Kalichi putting down tons of damage on the Lake, still looking to get away. Oh no, Kalichi is going to solo kill Lake in the side lane, and just like that, we were talking about how live by the lake, die by the lake. Well, that was a die by the lake, because Kalichi is able to get a lot of damage, and now they are looking to pile onto this top side with Vygar looking to recall, and they may be able to get a little bit of damage onto this tower. The Baron buff, maybe, question mark, has run out for those that had it.
It's been out for about a minute or so.
Yeah, so at least a very good defense there for Spectre of the Baron between the fight and the follow-up, and it's going to be the Predator and the Event Horizon coming out from Learning, but everyone is going to be safe on WCU. Learning going to get a couple more stacks there of that passive. Those Qs are going to hit like a truck if he gets anyone.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of damage coming through from the Vhagar at this point in the game, sitting on 310 stacks, 781 AP, and looking to build even more ability power after that. So curious to see how Learning is going to be able to scale into this later stage as well. But overall, it's been such a it's been the Kalichi show once again, pulling out this Kai'Sa after getting the Kalista band away. 8-2-1 on the Kai'Sa thus far, and just absolute massive amounts of damage coming through against the likes of HyperF, against Learning, against Lake even in that situation, and it puts the side of WCU Spectre in a little bit of a bind, especially since you've got two pretty strong objectives coming up. A Dragon spawning in 54 seconds, Baron spawning in 45, about 7 seconds apart from each other. So you're going to have to maybe try and coin flip it and say, you take Baron, we'll take Dragon, or you have to pray to find a solid fight before either of those objectives spawn so that you can maybe get both.
Yeah, to your point about the magic resist, we also have the Void Staff coming out from Please Don't Run It. Again, no one other than Lake has magic resist. Lake looking to knuckle up and get in, but is going to be denied. But it's going to be the Event Horizon giving some, but it's going to be a nice hook and
watch Kalichi
depth charge onto Learning. Learning may go down. No, Learning not going to go down. HyperF is still alive, dealing tons of damage in the backside.
Wait.
And Learning is able to live long enough to get so many kills. And it's going to be a double kill for Lake and a double kill for Hyper. And just like that, Spectre, they're fine. Yeah. They might get both.
They will get both at this rate. They're going to be able to put themselves on soul point, walk right over to that Baron afterwards. And Kalichi, we said to watch this Kai'Sa because if she gets caught out, it's over. And Lake finds the face breaker onto a couple of members there, able to turn around a lot of damage. And with the pause coming through, we'll have to find out if that Baron is taken. But just such a fantastic play coming through from Spectre Gaming to get themselves back up on their feet. And if they get this Baron, this gold lead will basically be indistinguishable.
Yeah, there was so much, and you kind of feel bad for Ahada because he got the dredge line onto exactly who you want with Learning, and then there was so much protection between the Janus shield, between the Monsoon, between the ultimate, and then the blade collar coming out from Xayah, excuse me, and it basically was able to keep everyone from being able to finish off Learning for so long while Lake was just walking around and hitting everyone else. I think we are back in the game.
Yes,
it started moving, and then mine stopped.
It's the pause after the pause bug. It's a known bug. It'll start back up soon.
All right. Well, in the meantime, like you said, we do have the Kai'Sa with 4 finished crit items, and it looked like building towards the GA, whereas there's still only 3 items on the Xayah. That said, Xayah has been able to do a lot of work, but the Baron is not being started right now by Spectre. It looks like they're going to try to take this tower first and then walk into the Baron area, clearing out some vision, but still having not started it, they may lose the Baron now. It is going to be everyone up on the side of WCU. So yeah, they trade taking a tower for the chance to possibly coin flip Baron. Good call, bad call? I'm not sure.
I don't mind it here because they just want to fight. They want to kind of spend their gold before looking for this Baron fight. They know that the respawn timers are still short enough that even with that fight, if they ran right to Baron, there might still be a fight at the end of it. So they might want to try and find a fight closer to Baron this time around, but going to be a little bit difficult as all the vision has been cleared out, or at least all but that one ward. Curious to see what the next fight looks like for Spectre because they looked really, really good in that last fight, taking down Kalichi extremely early, and that's really your proud target. You have to take out this Kai'Sa as quickly as possible and move on from there. So, all eyes onto HyperF, all eyes onto Learning, as well as onto Lake here. Those are really the 3 key members we have to keep our eye on to see how they take down Kalichi. And on the flip side, we just have to watch Kalichi to see if they're able to get 2, 3, 4 kills. And of note, not going to go for the Guardian Angel. They opt to build the QSS, so they will get to 100% crit most likely, but oh my goodness.
Kalichi was engaging onto HyperF, and it's going to force out the teleport from the Vigar. In the meantime, does wind up using the Predator, and it's going to be...
Oh my goodness.
Yet again, another fight, but they are able to take down Learning super early this time, and it's going to be HyperF on the backside, able to kill Ahada. Lake again onto Kalichi. Kalichi does wind up using the QSS. Does not use the QSS and goes down. It's going to be Swag as we get in the kill, but it's going to be Lake doing most of the work, and just like that, we got Please Don't Run It on the backside. Is going to use the stopwatch, trying to stay alive as long as possible. Is going to flash onto Lake, is still not able to get enough damage to kill anyone, and it's going to be a very, very clean 4 for 5. Or, sorry, 1 for 5 for living members on the side of Spectre, and they are onto the Baron, and what can you do if you're WCU? That was an ideal engage, for lack of a better way to put it. You got the hook onto the Vygar. You got the depth charge onto the Vygar. Vygar did not get to put down any damage, and still the rest of your team died in the subsequent 4v5.
Yeah, really, really well played coming through from Spectre Gaming. They find the fight that they were looking for, and Kalichi just doesn't seem to have the target selection to be able to cut, or the damage at least, to cut through Lake, to cut through the likes of Swagasm even in that front line. So super well played. Yes, Learning goes down extremely early, but they're able to extend that fight out long enough to give HyperF and Lake enough time to do their jobs, which is just shut down Kalichi and take down everyone else afterwards. Dissipate has had a really tough time just staying alive in a lot of these fights as well, or really having that much of an impact. Even still with Ahara, they sort of use all of their cooldowns and everything, but they're not that tanky. They went for the Glacial as opposed to the Aftershock, so the immediate tankiness that you wanted of this Nautilus isn't there. And WCU, they looked really, really strong for about 30 minutes of this game, 31 minutes, but now it's starting to fall apart as Spectre Gaming show why they are among the top teams in the BTL right now.
Yeah, and they are looking to go ahead and start positioning around this top side here. Going to play maybe around Lake, looking to clear some vision at least, so at least Lake can split push, if not basically draw attention to allow for a collapse. I think part of the reason that Kalichi is not able to get damage off, though, is we're seeing that the Crescent Guard from Swagasm plus the pressure from Lake is able to keep Kalichi away. And in the meantime, though, they are able to catch Lake alone, and Dissipate may still go down. They are finally able to take him down, but it took a whole lot, and now we see damage coming out. We see the Predator coming out from the Vygar. It's going to be the Requiem coming in, and Learning is on the backside, is cleaning up, and that's going to be yet again a 1-4-4 on the side of Spectre. Able to literally, with Lake dead, run through the remaining members. There, Please Don't Run It was on the bot lane pushing out, but what can you do? What can you do?
What can you do when the set does 60% of the Kai'Sa's health? It makes you burn so many of your key cooldowns there, and it's just so difficult to shut down the set at this point with how fed they are. 4.5 items. They are even on items with the Kai'Sa at this point, and despite Kalichi doing a whole bunch of damage there to the set, it takes so long to take him down, and that's the main thing to keep in mind. This set will be such a pain to take down in these fights with how tanky they are and how much healing they've got. The Gore Drinker plus the Death Dance mean they will stay alive forever now, so huge play coming through from Lake. As you said, live by the lake, die by the lake. That's just the motto of the series.
Yeah, and we see the teleports coming in. They are looking to deny the soul point here on the side of WCU. They are going to go ahead and start aggroing the dragon to begin with. They are looking to fight it. We will see what happens, but this is definitely going to be a big fight. That is going to be Kingfisher able to get Swagasm. It's going to be the dragon going down. There's going to be a death charge onto the Janna. In the meantime, Learning does get, oh my god, does the whole damage for... But at the meantime, it is going to be the Requiem coming down on the backside, going to get a lot of damage as well, going to get 2 kills, and it's going to be Lake going down, so it's going to be a 3-4-2 on the side of WCU. You got to be happy with that, all things considered. There are supers coming in. Both your damage dealers are down, but they were able to take out Learning, and Lake Hyper, though, is going to be able to walk down and take this inhibitor, most likely. There's not a whole lot that's going to stop him as far as the damage side of things. I guess not wanting to get CC'd to death and walk away. Nonetheless, a great comeback fight there from WCU.
Yeah, and it's incredible how these fights have evolved, because huge damage coming through from Please Don't Run It. They're really turning the tides of things on to the Veigar specifically there, who built this force of nature, still going a little bit tankier to finish out the build just to be able to survive the damage that can come through from this Karthus, as well as the Tahm Kench and the Volibear with some of their magic damage. But the story is still just Hyper F staying alive forever, being able to dish out massive amounts of damage and able to find another kill onto Kalichi at the end of that fight. So it all comes down to how these AD carries and how Lake really interacts with the rest of this game, because that fight, Lake had a decent engage but was sort of sequestered off, ended up fighting a 1v3, and that's how they took him down. But if you can get Lake into a 1v3 and still turn around your fight afterwards, that's going to mean a whole lot for the side of WCU. But gold lead 3,000 in favor of Spectre. They just need to find a way to close out this game, because the longer this game goes, the more impact Karthus is going to have. As now you can see, Rabadon's now complete. That's going to mean... Okay, interesting. We're going to sell the Shadow Flame for that. Okay, never mind.
Decided to go for the Hourglass instead. And we see the vision being cleared out here on the top side from Spectre. Shouted about but not mentioned, the Primordial Burst did about 1,600 damage.
It does a lot.
Like,
he has
absolute insane amounts of damage there
1090
with all of that AP coming out from the Veigar, and literally took Karthus from I can take a couple to you're dead now.
Yeah.
So fast.
Off of taking Krugs there, Learning just gained about 30 AP. So there's your reference. He's at 1,100 AP right now. If you are Karthus at this situation, who has built no MR for themselves in that regard, you're extremely concerned. And as anyone playing against this Veigar, you have to worry, because Kalichi, you walk into the event horizon, you get a Q ult, and you're dead. It doesn't matter at that point. Veigar at this point can just build Thornmail last item or Frozen Heart last item, and they're still feeling really good about themselves, because they've got all of the magic damage that they need. They've got 1,100 AP, for Christ's sake, so they can do whatever they so desire with their build in terms of their last item.
It is probably going to be another defensive item, which is going to make it even harder to get these picks that they've been aiming for on to Learning, just because if you can't kill him, you can't kill him. And Please Don't Run At Me is going to get everything there by Lake, is going to use the Hourglass, and then it's going to get devoured by Kingfisher. And now they're trying to fight Lake, but Please Don't Run It is out of mana, and Lake just walks away.
Goodness.
That is going to be the Requiem, but yeah, there's not enough mana here for any more Lay Waste from Please Don't Run It, who's going to have to go back. And in the meantime, having seen 3 members on the bottom side, it's going to be the Baron again being started up here for Spectre, and I don't know how fast this contest is going to get here. They got to get there quick. And it's going to be jumped over. Dissipate is in there, but it's not going to be able to get it. Actually, neither Smite takes it down, as Learning is able to get it with a Q. And it's going to be the Baron for this side of Spectre. And now, on top of which, they have the jungler dead for WCU. So it's a 4v5 versus Baron with this humongous Veigar and the unkillable set. What do you do? And oh no, Learning uses the Predator and the Event Horizon. They are able to take Honey out. PG on the backside is able to get the kill, and Swagasm is going to go down underneath. It's going to be Kalichi going down, and there's going to be the Showstopper coming out from Lake, and he's going to get carried all the way back to the fountain. So they are able to get some kills on the return there on the side of WCU, but Kalichi able to get the kill on the back end and then go down. Trades 1 for 1 for Learning, but it's going to be a 3 for 3, so you're going to be happy with that, especially because Please Don't Run It is the one alive and not the tanks this time on the side of WCU. But the Soul is coming up. It's going to be the teleport coming down onto the bottom side from Please Don't Run It. We do see Kingfisher continuing to chase down HyperF and Red, and just like that, they look like they're going to be able to turn it. Red is going to be forced to flash away as the Wall of Pain is able to get the slow, plus the Tongue Lashes are able to come through from Kingfisher, and the Dragon is going to be started. This might be this is, unless there is a miracle Lust Boy Q steal from Red, this is going to be the Soul going over to WCU, able to turn around a little bit of all of that negative chaos energy, and at least come out with something.
Really, really interesting play. with them just walking over to Dragon and being able to take it, we're getting into like super late game. Games don't last this long anymore. 43 minutes into this one, it's getting into that hyper late game. Kalichi full build, the Xayah from Hyper at full build. This Veigar very close to full build as well. Lake is at full build. Everyone's full builds are starting to come through, and this game just gets scarier from here on out because one misstep ends up costing so much. Learning going down ends up costing them the Infernal Soul, and that's a permanent buff that you're going to be able to work with for the rest of the game. You can't quantify that into strictly stats here, and while you would love to have that Infernal Soul on a Veigar, onto a Xayah, it's going to be even more painful to deal with this Kai'Sa now, who, as of right now, she's got 410 AD. That's a lot considering it's a Kai'Sa.
Dissipate is stuck in the event horizon, and they are going to try to get some damage on the Lake, but Dissipate is going to go down. Eyebrows is going to get the kill. It's Lake on the backside zoning off Ahada and is able to get a lot of damage, but he's going to not go down. Is not going to go down. And here we go. We get the Requiem coming down. Lake still alive, and it's going to be a triple kill for Hyper, and that's going to likely be the, I shouldn't say likely, that is going to be the game as every member of WCU goes down, regardless of the soul, and it's going to be Spectre taking game one. How do you kill that set? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just a fantastic game coming through from Spectre Gaming. They're able to translate what was a really rough early game into a strong mid game into a winning late game, and a lot of that comes down to Lake and Hyper F just able to carry the load of their team there on their backs. And overall, it was a great performance from everyone across the board, but just you look at their early game and you look at their late game, and you can't say it's the same team. It seems like something just flipped for them. They were able to get up on their feet, and Kalichi, they had the tools to win that game. They just weren't able to stay alive in a couple of those key fights, and it ended up going over towards Spectre Gaming, who, a little bit of a scare there in the early game, just going to say.
For sure. The Veigar damage was absolutely off the charts. Hyper, despite being down significantly early, was able to keep their wits about them. The one issue I think that I saw, though, was that the dive portion of the comp was not able to get onto anyone for WCU. Dissipate and oh, my brain has stopped working. But neither of them were able to get access to the backline, which allowed Hyper in almost all of those fights to just free hit and deal stupid amounts of damage.
And I think the biggest factor for game two that we're going to have to keep in mind is that, Spectre Gaming, they are a team that does succeed in terms of being able to get back into games. I think their goal difference at 15 for a long time was negative. They were behind in the early game, coming back in the mid games and winning late. So curious to see if WCU Rems can punish that potentially and find an early game comp that works for them to be able to push forward that advantage, or if we're just going to get a repeat of that last performance where Spectre Gaming, they just come off the charts and they're able to make it work.
Yeah, we will find out in game two. Please do not go anywhere. We will be back very shortly. Game two, Spectre versus the WCU Rams. Definitely going to be interesting. I'll say that much.